Hey doctors. Hey, I want to do a video here today on what I would consider the high-end boutique style practice model. Me personally, in practice, we had a higher-end boutique practice, right? We weren't based on high volume, lower fee in order to create higher volume. Some doctors are able to pull off higher volume at a higher fee. It's not that easy. So my the way I function is, I'm, some people are different. Everyone wants to set up their business for for their own needs, for their own philosophy. I totally get it. Some folk docs want to go high volume and have a lower fee and just see more people, and that's all about seeing people, serving people. I get it totally. I was a bit different. I wanted to provide extreme high quality, get great results, and target very specific individuals that didn't require high volume practice. I didn't want to see 100, 200, 300 a day. I didn't want to do that. It's not that I couldn't do that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't feel like I could provide the level of service that I wanted to provide running my business that way. I wanted to have high quality when people walked in or when they seen me online. I wanted them to feel high quality. So my office was set up as a high-end boutique style practice. I was a single doctor practitioner with two staff people. In the early years, it was one staff person. We ran up to $850,000 with one staff person, all cash. Once we incorporated two people, then we grew and marketed heavier, and we were able, we went up above six figures a month, right? All cash, no, all prepaid up front. There was no insurance or anything like that. So I created that model, and I refined and refined and refined that model over several years. I was an upper cervical, nuke upper cervical practitioner. So naturally, there's not a lot of high volume typically with upper cervical, right? You can over adjust the patient, make the patient worse. So it was a bit different. My style was upper cervical with a non-surgical spinal decompression segment to my practice. And so we created our fee structure around the values that we were providing or felt we were providing. So we were all about the patient experience, making the patient feel comfortable, get in all aspects, gifting patients, sending patients, new patients gifts, and taking them by the hand, giving them things extras, free items in the practice, doing things that normally wouldn't be done in practice, making sure they full coffee tea bars of 8 different kinds of teas and coffees and snacks and Pellegrinos and Perriers and all this stuff inside the practice that most people won't go that extra level for. And I'm not saying that you should. It creates more overhead. It's more demanding. It's more to follow up with, more to take care of. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create that. I wanted to feel like I was significant as a chiropractor, that I provided something of high value. And so I built my office around that. And from the moment someone would drive up to front of my practice, they could tell that this wasn't going to be the traditional style of business. It was going to be a bit different. So they knew I wasn't going to be cheap, which is what I wanted it to be. I did wanted it to be a pre-qualifier for my care. And so when people will walk in, they knew that probably Dr. Rader wasn't going to be the cheapest guy in town. Okay. So I was positioning myself inside the marketplace that way. I wanted to do that. I wanted to create that. Okay. And so this was a lower volume practice. I didn't want to see a ton of visits a week. I didn't want to see a ton of new patients in a month. I wanted to be able to see somewhere between 25 and 27 new patients in a month and collect 100 to 150,000 per month in cash. And that's what I was able to do. And so I didn't want to see 30 new patients. I wanted to provide high value to 22 to 26, 27 new patients per month. And I would charge accordingly. And so it didn't force me to have high volume, have additional associates, have all these extra staff and all these additional services to take care of. So the more services and products and stuff that you offer is going to require more maintenance in order to manage. And so we kept practice very simple, very high-end boutique style, and that's how we did it. We had high value services. I created myself as an elite specific type practitioner, where there's only a handful of doctors in the country that do the type of work that I did at the level I did. And so that's what we created. So if you're a chiropractor and you're looking at which way to go, I'm not saying one way is right or wrong. It all depends on your particular philosophy. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a high volume practitioner serving more people at a lower fee? But that doesn't always necessarily mean more money at the end of the month, and also can create capacity issues. Or do you want to be like, I personally practiced and created high end practice, had more overhead, but I was okay with that because the overhead, I was giving something of extreme value to my patients. I was giving back for the monetary value that they were paying me. And so it was all based around that type of service and customer service and model. So the staff was trained to take care of the patient first and foremost. And our job was to get results for the patient that they paid a good value, good money for. And so different ways you can go: higher volume, lower fees, lower upfront cost or fees to the patient, see people more often, totally fine. Or the reverse of that: higher fee, lower volume, more quality in everything that you're doing. Your whole game has to get better when you're charging more upfront and you're providing that value. Every level of that game, from the office to the staff to the customer service to the equipment to the doctor to everything that goes into that, has to be at a higher level in order to attract the type of patients that you want. So um, I was just hoping to explain some of the differences here. The money at the end of the month, you always have to pay attention to the money, right? What is happening here? Are you profitable? No matter whether you're running high volume, lower fees, or medium fees, or whether you're running a high-end boutique style practice that has a higher fee, less volume, less number of new patients. What does the numbers look like at the end of the month? Do you have enough margins in order to be able to market your practice? Lower fee practices can generate referrals a little bit easier a lot of times than higher fee practices, where it's cost you 5K and above to get started with a doctor. Someone that's charging 1,200 to 1,800 bucks for a case, is going to have less barrier up front, or a $49 to $79 upfront fee. My fee up front was $780 to take x-rays and to start my initial workup with you. So those were things were in place in order to pre-qualify people to see if they would be able to work with me, because I knew I didn't want to work with 30, 40, 50 new patients a month. Okay. So if you need any help with, developing the style of practice, or if not sure which way to go, maybe you're a young practitioner, maybe you're a practitioner who's been in the game for a long time, maybe you're just burnt out, maybe you've been high volume, maybe you want to go to more of a boutique style practice, or maybe you want to cut your volume down, but yet you want to do the things necessary in order to be able to justify a higher fee with less volume to create more of a high-end boutique style practice, or somewhere in the middle of that. I'm happy to help with you. Schedule a 15-minute call, get on the phone together, talk about where your practice is, what's going on, and what we would need to do in order to change to get really where you want to get. So I hope you guys as well, and we'll talk to you soon.